Raise your hand if you've ever heard of the distributive property before. Okay, some of you, great, that's good. Well, today we're going to learn it. This is an additional property from what we did yesterday. I'm going to start with some examples. Will you please write these down? 4 times the quantity of A plus 3. What operation is going on between the 4 and the quantity? Multiplication, exactly. But what I have to do is I have to distribute the 4 to everything that is inside that quantity, one at a time. What's inside the quantity? A and 3. So I've got to multiply the 4 times the A, and then the 4 times the 3. Okay? Perhaps so. So 4 times A is what?
4A.
4A. And then 4 times positive 3 is?
12.
Actually, we're going to say positive 12, so I know what sign goes in the middle. Okay? So when I distribute 4 over A plus 3, I get 4A plus 12. Now raise your hand if you recognize this. Absolutely wonderful. We're just going to do several examples. The next one, they tried to do a little trickery on us. A plus 5, and they put the 6, or the distributed, on the right-hand side.
Doesn't matter.
It makes me angry when they do this, because it's not standard algebraic procedure. But we're going to go with the flow, because I know you guys are intelligent enough to not let this stuff trip you up. I still take that 6, and I distribute it to everything in the quantity. And now we're back. Aliens were attempting to take over my computer, but I fought them off. You can thank me later. So what do I start with? 6 times is?
6A.
Plus 30.
And then 6 times 5, which is?
Positive 30.
Positive 30. Exactly.
What if it's like subtraction?
Oh, that is such a great question, Katie. Katie says, what if it's like subtraction? I am so glad you asked, because that's the next example.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm ahead of it.
The first thing I do is, anybody?
3 times
3 times X.
Which is?
3x.
3X.
3x. And the next thing I do is 3 times negative 8, which is negative 24.
So you just take 3 times 8 and just take it.
Now, listen carefully to this next part. That minus sign between the x and the 8 can be a minus sign, or it could also be a negative of the 8. It's interchangeable. You decide. Make sure, though, that you put the correct sign after you distribute.
Will you ever have more than 2 numbers in the same position?
Absolutely you will. But not today. Okay? Here's the next example. A little more trickery. 4 minus x times x. Oh. So now our distributed term is a variable. It's the exact same concept. So the first thing that I have to multiply is what times what?
X times 4.
X times 4, which is 4x. And the next thing I distribute is what?
X.
X times negative X.
X times negative x, which is?
X.
Negative x.
Time out? 0. What is x times x?
X.
You can't.
Stop. Branson, what is x times x?
X squared.
X squared. Remember?
Yes.
Oh, because 3 times 3 is 9, which is 3 squared. X times x is x squared. So Branson, what is x times negative x?
0?
No.
Or,
Negative what?
Squared.
Negative x squared. Just for clarification, x times 4 is 4x. X times negative x is negative x squared.
So it would be wrong if we put 4x minus xx.
Yes. Draw a line, please. You can make yours squiggly, but I can't. So, and under that we're going to distribute a negative number. And our first example is negative 3 times the quantity of 7 plus x. Same concept, my distributed number is now negative. So the first thing I do is negative 3 times 7, which is negative 21. Again, remember in this country we read from left to right, so that's the way we operate. And then we have negative 3 times x, which is
Negative 3x.
negative 3x. Can I do anything else? Can I do anything else? No. I'm done. I move on. Let's look at the next example. The quantity of 6 minus a times negative 2a. Now instead of just having a number or just having a variable as my distributed, I have both, negative 2a. So I have to distribute that negative 2a over everything in the quantity. So the first thing I do is negative 2a times 6, which is negative 12a, except it's in the wrong place. And then I'm going to do negative 2a times negative a. Negative 2a times negative a is what? Positive 2a squared. Because I take the negative 2 times the negative and I get positive 2. A times a is a squared. How about negative a times the quantity of 3 plus a? Would you please quickly write this one down on your paper and I'll ask for an answer in just a second. Raise your hand when you have it. Augie, what do you have?
I have negative 3a plus negative 2a squared.
Okay, we got the negative 3a by negative a times 3, right? And then what's the next part of this?
You have to multiply negative a times positive a.
And what is negative a times positive a?
Negative a.
Negative a squared.
Good.
There we go. Because negative a times positive a is negative. Okay? And the next one from this section is negative 9x times the quantity of x plus 2. Will you please quickly do this one on your paper, and then I will ask for an answer. Think carefully about what you are multiplying each time. When you have an answer, will you raise your hand so I can see who is working and who is ready?